Okay, what just happened?
I don't know. We're live. So
we are live, but Facebook is. I don't know why we're not live on Facebook. Welcome to Loud and Nerdy on a Tuesday night. I hate technical stuff. Are we live on Instagram at least?
Looks like the stream was deleted on Facebook. Try creating a new stream. We just remove this destination and re-add it.
Okay, so how do I do that? Let's try doing that. Remove, and then re-add it. On Facebook, right? Okay, let's. We're going to re-add it. We're going to try to fix it. I like fixing stuff. And now, all of a sudden, we're possibly on Facebook. Welcome to Loud and Nerdy on a Tuesday night. We are sans Jerry. He is in the country music capital of the world this week for a business trip. He may or may not show up later. I don't think he's going to show. We are expecting guests. We have one guest already in the green room. I'm super excited to have him. Bill Vasquez writes great articles. I might have just butchered his name, but he writes great articles about comic books, and he has his own show and YouTube channel going right now called Billboard Comics. We're super happy to have him, although I disagree totally with what he's going to say, so let's get that out of the way early. Kyle, let's talk. I hate people. Not you tonight. Good evening, Ken McKernan. I hope you're feeling better. I know you're going through it right now. Why are we not live on Facebook or Instagram?
Well, we are live on Facebook because Cindy's saying evening, guys, from Facebook. And so is Jasper. So
we're on Facebook. Instagram, again, I don't know if the Instagram thing caused a thing with Facebook. I don't know, but right 3 seconds. We were live. 3 seconds into the show, it didn't work. I don't know. I'm just.
Instagram's telling me we're live.
Oh, God. Oh, God. One of these days, we're just going to have to try to do a quick one and just go from there. I have to get better at this. The funny thing is, in the green room before the show, Bill was talking about how he has trouble with technology. He used to be able to program VCRs and stuff, set up recordings, and I have the same problem. I'm good at content. Anyway, there was a Facebook delay. Okay, yeah, I don't know we don't know what happened, Joe. But we'll make it work. Let's talk the most important story of the week, and then I'm going to tell you why I hate people. Does that sound good, Kyle? Let's do it. Okay, so this is the most important story of the week. And you need a 6-year-old help with tech. I probably do. This is the most important story of the week. And what you're going to hear, like, again, I don't care if not everybody, you haven't hit live TV on Instagram. Okie dokie. Oh, Jesus. So much stuff. But one of the things that came up this week, I was reading. Okay, hold on. We might also have a Jerry thing. Hold on. A Jerry. We might have a Jerry sighting. Who knows what's happening here?
I don't know if I want to put that on screen.
Put what on screen?
Jerry. I mean, he's like.
Oh my God.
Tim the Toolman Teller's neighbor, Mr. Wilson.
He looks like Lex Luthor. Put him up. Let's go.
Oh,
let's go, Jerry.
Yo.
How's Nashville, brother?
Hot.
Like hot chicken, like lava chicken? No?
It's like 95 degrees here.
Well, I'm in Florida, so that's every day. Anyway, Good to have you. Are you staying on for the entire show? Hey, brother. Hey, Sean.
Yeah. I'm
Are you
going to try to
good?
get better volume, but
Okay,
sure.
no, your volume sounds great. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, on my end, I can't hear.
Oh, okay. Well, that could be problematic. I'm gonna do that for you. Fix your
I'll
mic.
figure it out.
We're already screwing up tech tonight. It's going so well already, Jerry. Who's Jerry? Ooh, you leave for 3 seconds and then whatever. So if you like this kind of witty, we don't know how to use technology, and you also like the three of us, and you like our network, please like and subscribe to our show. We'll get it in. So Jerry, you have seen Superman now also, correct?
You asking me something? Sorry.
He can't fucking hear us. I was saying you've seen Superman, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's good. We can all talk. I'm gonna be loath to do. We're not gonna do a lot of spoilers tonight. We'll save that for next week and go from there. Why are you taking a picture? What are you doing?
Because there's a tech issue thing that I'm just taking a picture of, so I have it for later.
Oh, good. Okay. That sounds smart. I am not smart, so that's okay. So here's the thing that annoyed me this week. Somebody put up.
Anyone that said it wasn't superb annoyed you. No.
That's not true. You know what? I can understand if you have problems with it. I'm okay with that. It's the Snyder Bros coming out of the woodwork, and that stuff's annoying me. Also, people who don't want to understand, who are deliberately fiddling with the numbers in an effort to make it seem like it's not a hit. That bugs me. It bugs me on several levels. You made a very good point, and I don't say that often. Sorry about that. I didn't see that. I hit the wrong button. But this was something that was put on my timeline. We lost Jerry. This was something put on my timeline where this guy on Facebook runs a thing called Smallville Season 11, and he put up domestic opening weekend, Man of Steel 23-13 adjusted for whatever, 128. It's adjusted to 177. Superman's actually at 125, not 123, but who cares about facts? And the problem with this is several-fold. One, 2013, yes. Your point is going to be the last point I made because your point was really good. 2013 was an entirely different universe in film going, right? We've had, since 2013, we've had the advent of streaming. We've had COVID. And things have never really been back to normal. So when you throw things to me where you throw things at me where you're like, okay, so Instagram is down worldwide. Thank you. Currently experiencing a platform-wide release. Oh, good. Well, this damn Instagram. I just noticed it. I'm sorry. But if you send me this information that you somehow think Man of Steel, moviegoing has changed, inherently changed since 2013. Streaming's done it. COVID has had, we haven't been COVID level box office. We're down anywhere from 15 to 30% since COVID hit. And that's for every movie. That's just for everything. Sorry, JW, it's not. I didn't say it was a perfect 10. I just think it's a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I didn't come out of it wanting to kill myself, which is every other Snyder Bro movie. And most of the recent DC movies. But the box office is an interesting thing. Now, grossed another 12 million yesterday. I'm looking at the numbers right now. So 125 was actually the actual total. Grossed another 12.9 million yesterday. So it's at 138 as of today. It's about to pass. It already passed. It's about to pass F1 as of tonight. It'll pass F1. So in 4 days, it'll it's pretty much one of the bigger hits of the summer is going to get completely passed. Did you put butter popcorn in your... no, I did not. No. Oh, that reminds me. I'm sorry. Just so we're clear. Anyway, so I changed it. I've been changing it during the shows because I think it's funny. Because you can have a newspaper either with Superman or you can have a newspaper with crypto. But if you're putting this money thing into it, if you're sending to me, it didn't gross, it got spanked by Man of Steel, I'm gonna laugh at you because that means you fundamentally don't understand that movie going since 2013 has changed for the worst. No movie is going to gross the kind of gross that movies in 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way up to 2020. We haven't been the same society since then. Did you get the crypto popcorn bucket where the rear end drops down to get the popcorn? No. Going to be speaking to JW about Superman. Better toke up first. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's bring our guest in. Bill Gadavakis. Again, Billboard Comics is his new YouTube channel. I really suggest you subscribe to it. He's a good friend of the show. There's Jerry. Jerry's back. Wait, I have a full screen, or you have the phone on the side.
Computer.
No,
Oh, there you go. Nah.
Superman did 182, this new one, for its opening weekend, right?
No, it did 220 worldwide. Okay. Worldwide
for domestic.
Domestic. It did 125.
125 compared to Barbie, which domestic opening weekend was 162.
Yes, no. That's again. That is where your comment comes in. I think you're onto something too. DC has fumbled the ball so much that nobody trusted them. Right? The movies have been mediocre at best. Like some were good. Aquaman, the first Aquaman was pretty good, but the second one wasn't good. First Shazam was pretty good. The second Shazam wasn't. So I think that's where your point comes in, where you brought up it maybe the audience was a little gun shy, but 125 internally, Warner Brothers, anything over 100 for Warner Brothers was a hit. Also, and this is a big thing, we've only had 2 movies this year go over $100 million opening weekend. Just 2. So it's a worldwide, it's a generational thing. It's also, we haven't been back to COVID, pre-COVID levels forever. The only 2 movies that have hit over 100 million are Minecraft and Wonder Woman 1984 was horrible. First Wonder Woman was good. Minecraft and Lilo and Stitch are the 2 that hit over. And Superman's the 3rd of the year to do it. So I just think, if you're talking about 2013, you want to bring in inflation, you want to be like, oh, it didn't do it as much. It beat Man of Steel in real numbers. It did not beat it in adjusted inflation numbers, but those numbers are horribly skewed. So just...
Actually, according to the graph, it didn't beat the uninflated numbers from Man of Steel.
The picture? Hold on.
Yeah, the graph that you had, 128 million was the actual opening, not adjusted for Man of Steel.
I think that's wrong, though, because Man of Steel was 160. Somebody also in this article, just so we're clear, this article also brings up Batman versus Superman. And just so we're clear, Batman versus Superman did
my mother's name is Martha.
166.
I just say that name.
Jesus Christ. Batman versus Martha did not 166. But the thing, and I would say this to both of you without batting an eye, adding Batman to anything for an opening weekend boosts those numbers. The Lego fucking Batman movie did almost $80 million. So it's, it's not a joke. Anyway, let's bring our guest in. He's kind enough to come on, and I think he wants to debate. And then we're going to have Joe come on, and he's going to accost me as well. That's fine. I'm good. Bill Gadavakis, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good.
This is the first time we've ever.
First time
Hi, Daniel.
And for a second there, when Jerry, we were going to introduce me beforehand, and Jerry come up and go like, the part of Bill Gadavakis is going to be playing Jerry from Slapjaw. So I thought like I replaced. I'm like, yikes! My first time. I know it's my first time you can actually see my mouth moving, but I didn't.
Well, usually you're just the giant logo. Usually,
Yep.
But you have a show now. You have your own YouTube channel, so you have to have visuals for your content. We're glad to see you. I don't think there's any problem with that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate and respect your opinion. That's the best I'm going to be able to do. And
Well, I know yours, and that's all I have to say about that.
that's fine.
I'm kidding. But like,
no. But I respect it, and it also, this is a funny time for us because I had to put on your review of this movie. This is maybe the first time we've ever disagreed about anything in our life.
And you realize JW has not taken that shirt off since last Monday.
Actually, I've been interchanging. I've been doing. Oh, Jesus Christ!
I want to get all the conflicting emotions for JW right there. His love for Superman, his hatred of the Steelers, all in one, right there.
All in one. That's just bleh. You know what? I don't hate the Steelers as much as I hate Steeler fans who are holier than thou. I don't think you are, because I think you have a nice, valid sense of where the Steelers are. I think at the end of last season, you and I talked where we're just like, yeah, you're going to make the playoffs. Enjoy that.
Yeah, for the 1 week they're there.
It's going to be one and done.
Yeah. Because I've heard that before, because there's a lot of like Steelers fans who are like Dallas Cowboy fans. No offense to anybody who's a Dallas Cowboy fan, who are like, oh my God, our team's the best ever, and they haven't been to the Super Bowl in 20 years. I went through the whole Louis Lips years and the Mark Malone years and the Walter Abercrombie years where the Steelers were doing somebody got Ben Roethlisberger for such a high draft pick because they sucked. So I have had humility.
I also think, for Steeler and Raider fans, I think there's a hatred that is bred of if you watch those old NFL John Facunda films where you're watching them. Where they're just, the hatred was bred, one team, the Steelers were, for my taste, the Steelers were always thought they were better than everybody else. And the Raiders were always the scrappy kind of like, fuck you, fuck the world. What is that? Fuck that. You can fuck right off with that too. Are people out to get me? What is going on? Steelers, Chiefs shit? Get out of here.
So apparently we're allowed to curse on this episode now.
You're definitely allowed to know that. Curse. Good to know.
I've always had respect for the Raiders, and anything I say to you is just me.
I know. We're
your balls.
I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Al Davis person. Like, I just think he's a rugged individualist that I enjoy how he tried to piss off the league every chance he got. Anyway.
Yeah. So I grew up in Pennsylvania, so my choice was either the crappy Eagles or the really good Steelers. So I picked the Steelers. So when I was
I grew up in Pennsylvania and I picked the Dolphins. What was I thinking?
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I was from Scranton, of course, and my initial, I've told the story, but the day I became a Raider fan was 1980 Super Bowl. I took off the Eagles hat. I'm like, the Pirate guys are so much cooler, and they won another Super Bowl 3 years later, and I've been, kicked in the groin ever since. But it is what it is.
Yep.
Bill.
And that was football talk. See everybody. Goodbye. I'd like you there.
It's good. Have a good day. Bill, let's talk a little bit about Superman. You had problems with it.
I did, yeah.
Give me an idea where you're coming from on the problems. And I'm not going to try to answer them. I think let's get them out without giving too much away. We don't want to do a lot of spoiler talk because people get pissy about spoilers. Also, we're only 4 days in.
I'm kind of bummed by that because I really want to talk about the Batman cameo. I mean, Pete Davidson being cast as Batman. I mean,
it's a daring choice. It's a daring choice. Also, Ariana Grande as Wonder Woman. I didn't think with how tiny she was, they would go full Amazon, but
the CGI
is amazing. Yeah.
my basic thing is that, and of course, not to plug too many things here, the full review is up on filmbuffonline.com, and you can find it it's probably pretty close to the top if you want to look at it. If you want to, because sometimes I talk like an idiot. But my basic thing is, it was I titled it the name of the review. It was a servant of too many masters and satisfied very few. It was trying to be everything to everyone, but that caused a whole big tonal shift in the whole thing. It went from like a whiplash of tone. It was like, hey, it's a goofy Silver Age comic book kind of thing. Oh, here's a reference to the Adventures of Superman TV series from the 50s. Oh, here's something from like the Superman movie from the 70s. Oh, here we got to touch on the Snyderverse. Okay, we'll do that here. Okay, do we go here and do this? It just went back and forth, and like there's very little connective tissue between that. And
okay, I thought the tonal issues. I think for me, a lot of the film's tonal issues, if there are jumping from one thing to another, I viewed it as Gunn trying to recreate a page, a comic book panel, just splash pages, and jumping from one thing to the next. You just kind of turn the page. And I also thought Cornsweet and Holt and Brosnahan are so good that they get, like, Cornsweet in particular. Like, I'm a Holt person too, but Cornsweet, I think the more I've watched it, I've seen it 3 times, the more I've seen it, his performance is so goddamn sincere and kind and right that for me, I can overlook a lot. Any of the shifts, like the great shifts that goes from place to place, introducing characters quickly. I'm okay with it because I think they got Brosnahan and Holt. Holt also. Holt is spectacular.
I'll agree with you. I think the acting is phenomenal. I think they all do a great job. I just wish they had more to work with. It's like another thing that bugged me about the movie. It's kind of tied into the whole thing. It's the big thing about comic book movies is we don't need to actually set up the whole backstory about this. Everybody knows that Superman is from Krypton. Yeah, we do. We know that he's dating Lois Lane. Yeah, but he's not dating this version of Superman. Is not dating this version of Lois Lane. And considering, stop me if I get to spoiler areas. There's a main plot through going on about their relationship in this. I personally, one of my positive things about this seems like the most realistic Lois and Clark / Superman relationship I've seen in a movie or TV.
That's because you're married and she's consistently mad at him in the movie.
Well, that might be true, but it all the other seems like, oh, hey Superman, how you doing? I'm in love. Or hey, you're kind of spunky. Oh, I'm in love. This one seems like actually two people in a relationship trying to work it out. That might be just me.
Joe Ridgely, look at you. Come on, pile on. Bill's giving me gut shots. Come on, you can just pile on.
Turn your camera, Joe. Turn it.
I don't want to.
There you go.
There you go.
You look like you're a big boy. Way to go.
Well, now I can't see.
You're like me. You're like me 10 minutes
What's
ago.
happening with the technology on our show? My issues relationship to Superman and Lex, although Alexis is absolutely amazing. I love his bad guy speech in the end. What the issue that there is no relationship between this particular Superman and Lex? Yeah, that's the relationship between Superman and Lex is up in the air. That's always been an up in the air thing. Some people have chosen to make it a really close relationship. Others have not. Gunn has not.
But that brings up another point of what I didn't like about it. It's a thing of like every screenwriting book you'd ever want to hear about is show, don't tell. Story by Robert McKee, the Adventures in Screenwriting Trade by William Goldman. That's a big thing. This movie was a whole bunch of telling without showing. And granted, if they showed it, it'd probably be like a 5-hour movie. But the whole thing about like Lex Luthor giving his motivation in the third act was, that was great. It was well performed. It was really on point by Nicholas Hoult. But I would like to have something more than that, like just like him telling us that. There's a lot of like telling.
But isn't it implied that it, like, we've seen everything happen? I think part of my thing is, I think it's one of those movies for me that flies by. It does what it needs to do, and it sets up unimaginable possibilities. Is
it
why
does.
Spoilers.
Is that's as good as I can. That's as good as I can get without spoilers. But like I think they do a pretty good job with Ultraman. They do a pretty good job with the Engineer. I think all the talk about the Superman being weaker. The answer to that is really simple, but people apparently aren't paying attention. In my mind, like the two things, there are several times in the movie where it's the first time he's ever lost a fight. It's the first, the robots when he's leaving the fortress.
Did they?
Says,
wait. Let me ask you a question about
75%.
that. Let me ask you a question about it. Did they show us the first time, or did they tell us this is the first time? They told us. They told us. Okay, go back.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. I think part of it is Gunn's way of dropping us into the universe and not having to.
I'm very thankful we didn't have to sit through another origin story.
Well, that's what I mean. I think two things, and I know Joe is chomping at the bit, but the thing I would say that's ingenious about it.
Oh, he's nice and mellow like at a Fish concert right now.
The things that I think are ingenious, Bill, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you have a different opinion. The things I think are ingenious are twofold. One, they're dropping us in the middle of it, and that's something that great films have done in the past, where you're dropped in the middle, like Reservoir Dogs. You're dropped in the middle, right? You see the beginnings of something, and then you're dropped in. I just watched Reservoir Dogs recently because Michael Madsen died, so that's something that's in my brain. But like for the ingenious thing is that you're dropping it in, and it is the first time in a while where the audience, it's not Superman being in the audience's world. It's Superman. We're watching Superman's world, right? We're entering this new DCU. And I think that is kind of what the touch is. The light touch of it is that it's fresh and it's different from all the other takes. Making Superman realistic is boring.
Yep.
Making Superman, making him depressed about not having a good week is not what we want. Okay, I agree that we're dropping in the middle, but I think so much of done with Superman, it's like an audience member was kind of like questioning what is between these characters like? Where are we meeting them? Because there are just so many different versions of relationships that it was kind of confusing for me. Okay,
she's a very wise woman. That I don't know if she's related to anybody here, but she's very smart. But getting back to my original point, because we're getting away from it, about the Lois and Clark relationship, since that is a big part of the thing, I'm not going to try to spoil anything like that. I would like to see at least a little bit of how they got together. You claimed Reservoir Dogs, a classic, American classic, one of my favorite movies. I love Tarantino, Up, Down, Sideways. Mm-hmm. But if you recall, and you saw it, you should recall this, they dropped us in the middle, but they had flashbacks in the middle to him meeting with the guy.
Yeah,
So they had scenes in there to explain what happened without having to tell us what happened. So
I think
it's like I don't want to like be mean and everything. I was disappointed in the movie. I didn't actually hate it as much as I hated like Catwoman or anything like that.
Wow, that is horrible to even bring up. The monologue needs to win awards.
Lex's monologue at the end.
Yeah, Lex's monologue is pretty great. I think for me, I was okay with the tonal shift. I was okay with the performances. I know Gunn's flamboyant and he brings a lot to the table. I was okay with that. So I understand where you're coming from.
Hold on, let me go grab my cocoa.
So I just want to make sure. Wait, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure your whole thing is that he's not a dick, right? That you want a Superman that's a penis.
Thing is, I fly into a window and something's going on behind me, and I'm hanging out with Lois Lane in a fucking bedroom. I'm not drinking cocoa.
What are you drinking?
What are you? Well, two things.
Zima. That'd be me.
There's a reason you're not dating Lois. Secondly, I think it's first off, I think it's interesting that you're ripping on one of the tenderest moments in the movie and one of the better scenes in the movie. Actually, yeah, there's a lot going on behind it. I got it.
I would have showed her how I loved her.
but he's about to turn himself in. That it doesn't make sense.
Wait a minute. Show how much I love her.
Wait a minute. What's the dialogue?
So you
wait. There's dialogue to the scene because I was just distracted by the stuff going on behind the scene. That instead of putting on the focus of the action. I think.
But I think the interesting thing there is, Bill. It shows that there's a lot of stuff going on in this universe.
I think that's a good point, but
I just think that I think I think
that it was kind of all over.
Yeah, Joe, you're very muffled and muted. Like your microphone's not.
Well, no. I think part of my feeling on that is, again, he says it. They don't need my help. It's just an imp from another dimension. I'm good. And she makes him the Coco because I think he genuinely likes Coco. So I think you're telling me you're a married guy, Joe, and you've never had a moment where your wife brings you a drink that she knows will make you feel better after a long day, where you're about to get arrested by the government?
Well, you convinced me. 2 thumbs up for me now. The Coco.
It's not better now, so I can yell at him.
Now
it is a little bit better, yeah.
Why are you going to yell at me?
I don't think it's a spoiler by saying. I don't think it's a spoiler by saying we all know Superman can't get drunk because of a yellow sun and his metabolism. So I mean, you don't need an alcoholic.
You're going to have to explain one of the cutscenes to me then, if he can't get drunk. Okay.
Well, what do you mean?
I think like the last scene in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, or
is that where he specifically says that she goes to Red Sun places so she can.
Yeah. I'm understanding what he's saying. I'm right there with you, Joe.
That one's that one's easily explained, and it's part of the it's literally in a comic book.
See,
and that's also been established.
Superman needs an alcoholic beverage because it does nothing to him, but a hot cocoa, I mean, it's delicious.
I don't know.
Maybe some little marshmallows.
Yeah.
And then a little.
I think
if the background scene was another conversation that wasn't as important, it'd be a great illustration of your point. They live in a world he doesn't have to fight every battle because they have other people that are fighting the battles for him. But having in the back, like if they're like, "Hey, where do I go to eat today? Had to go like the Leonardo's?" Nah, we went there last week. So it's that kind of stuff that the forefront the discussion wasn't so important. Yeah. To have to battle the background.
I think it was also a way to kind of it might have been Gunn playing with the internet a little bit because he did a lot. He does that a lot, and I have no problem with him doing it. I think it was him playing with it because you remember everybody on this show remembers when that picture came out, everybody's freaking out about the boots and freaking out about why is he just sitting there and all this other shit. And I think I don't know. It didn't bother me, and I know the kinetic nature. I know there is a kinetic nature to the movie that it can be off-putting. I understand that, but Joe, so you wanted him to nail Lois, is where we're going.
Then I don't see why not.
I can send you a link to that Superman movie, Joe.
I just got here. I didn't see that at all.
I'm sorry, Joe. Joe, are you on the wrong show? Gabe's show is tomorrow night.
Fair.
Sorry.
He didn't even try to look through her clothes.
It's okay. It's fine. You can yell. Go ahead. Yell at me. Come on. I've been fighting with Madison all day. Come on.
You and this BS of COVID and numbers, and I mean, I can understand.
That is true. What are you talking about? That's not bullshit.
Well, it is because we've had billion-dollar movies already.
No, it's not bullshit, Joe.
We've had billion-dollar movies since COVID.
Sure, we've had billion-dollar movies, but you understand that movie going in general is down since COVID.
Okay, but you understand if it's a good movie,
people get nailed and have the
it's going to make $1 billion.
Well, no, but we haven't had we're only about to have the first $1 billion movie.
Really.
Just but I'm explaining this. We do not have any $1 billion movies this year, though.
Yet.
We have since COVID, though.
Yes.
Okay. So again, if people enjoy a movie They like a movie, they're going to make it $1 billion movie.
Well, no, but that's not the point of the inflation number thing. The inflation number thing changes based. Anyway, that COVID I'll give you an example, and then I'll try to figure it out. So I'm going to read a box office report from this week. Okay? Just hear me out. No, just hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. We'll read the box office.
It supports his stance, so yes.
Thanks.
Can I speak after you then?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. This has become a train wreck. Absolutely, you can speak.
Because I left you speechless.
No, you didn't leave me speechless. It's the kind of crackpot shit that people put on the internet, like, oh my god, it didn't make as much as Superman.
Well,
Man
no, I
of
was just
Steel.
saying in general. You're saying that because of COVID and everything's gone downhill. Okay, be that as it may, but we'll have $1 billion movies after COVID. That's all I'm saying. You enjoyed enough.
It wasn't Mission Impossible, that's for sure.
Jesus Christ. I hate you all. Like I just there are times when I just want to kill myself. Anyway,
anytime I watch a Tom Cruise movie lately, but hey.
Hey, JW.
Okay. Yeah.
JW, have you met my biggest fan?
Well, that explains a lot.
Are you still looking? Because I can say my point while you're looking.
Go ahead. Look. Do your point.
This is going to be supporting you, JW, but it's not going to sound like that for a while.
Thanks for a while. Thanks.
Like it is Superman as I correct me if I'm wrong, because I looked at the numbers, but I'm old and I have a teenage daughter who my memory goes to making sure she's safe. So I might have forgotten this. It is the third highest opening of the year, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
right?
It
behind
is.
Minecraft and behind Lilo and Stitch. It is. I think you're right that says that COVID does affect movies in such a way that not everybody's going out to see like a crappy sequel to something that they don't like anymore, like they used to do back before COVID. Hey, I'll see the next Where's Waldo movie. I don't know if there's a movie for Where's Waldo, but that's just an example. Or like,
there isn't.
Hey, I could just wait 4 weeks and watch this on streaming. So I'll wait on this for a really big movie that I really want to see on a big screen, like Lilo and Stitch. I'm going to go there opening weekend and keep on going back, and I love it. You need a special breed of movie to actually make the $1 billion. It's not automatic.
It's not every movie, and we only are about to have our first one of the year in about a week.
Yeah,
right.
And the true test about Superman, whether it fits in this echelon or not, is this coming week, and see how much the receipts drop.
Second week, right? The second week is the key. Kyle hit upon it. Okay. What?
I just copy everything that Kyle says, but I put in my own words.
Yeah,
and then
Well, no. I will say this. I will say this as somebody who loves Kyle. A broken clock is right twice a day. Anyway, here I found what I wanted to find. Okay, so this is from Variety. And this is every box office weekend, every weekend in every box office story from the weekend. With those successes and other recent winners, overall theatrical revenues are 15% of the same point in 2024, according to ComScore. However, they are still roughly 24% behind 2019, the last pre-pandemic year. Box office is off 24%, Joe. It's in every weekend, every article that is at the bottom. And what Kyle and I have been watching, and I know Kyle's been watching it too because I brought it up to him. Every week it gets chiseled away depending on how big a movie is. Right?
Barbie should have been a $1.5 billion.
Barbie is again an outlier. Barbie is an outlier. There weren't that many $1 billion films, Joe. What I'm saying to you is,
based on what you just said, Barbie should have made 25%, 24% more than it did.
Possibly.
Correct?
Yeah, it could have. It could have been a $2 billion movie.
And one thing I want to say, like, $1 billion movies weren't all that common beforehand. I think there's like maybe 20 in all history of all all moviedom. And this is what I've wrote about this again and again. Like this Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's going to be $1 billion movie. It wasn't. It's like $600 million, which a lot of studios would love to have. Oh, no, we have to reboot the whole franchise.
Was
Batman
there a
versus
$1 billion
Superman.
Avengers movie after COVID?
After COVID?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I don't know. It was a legitimate question. I don't know.
Endgame was the last one in 2019, 2.799 billion. So
so you got that movie pushing and skewing the 2019 numbers that you keep toting, which Endgame is more of a juggernaut and more of a skew than Barbie can ever be. And that's what you blame most things on. Is Barbie came out. That's why Mission Impossible dropped off on 6.
That is why Mission Impossible. That's not a theory. That is what happened. It wasn't just Barbie though. Oppenheimer
All right,
also
let's get
came out.
back to the actual movie. Let me explain why I prefer the Snyder film. JW and
John.
guys, I've already told them. Let's see. I started really heavily collecting Superman in the early 90s. And when Death of Superman came out, I was totally digging it. The darker tone, the violence, eventually the mullet and the black costume. Freaking had all the collectibles and everything. When Man of Steel came out, I gravitated towards that because it was a darker tone. And we already know Gunn can make Superman movies darker. Like I said, Brightburn was a freaking great movie.
Brightburn's okay.
I thought it was okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think we needed a sequel.
In another 10 years, it'll come from Jerry's basement, but whatever.
Just so we're clear, it didn't make enough to garner a sequel. Is the problem?
Another thing, not to yell at anybody who likes the Snyder movie, because Lord knows I love each and every one of them, because they never said anything bad about me in my entire life, in my career as a journalist, as lame as it is. I've never been accused of being on the Disney payroll by any of them by any chance. Forget about that. But the fact is, you have to think like, yeah, this is a Dark Superman movie. I just bought the first Superman book that I bought as a kid. I got rid of, like, when it got thrown away on me. Off of Whatnot, and it was Superman revealing his identity to Lana Lang. It was like stuff I've been chasing after. So I've been like going for at least 50 years buying Superman. Superman is a kind of one of those characters that's everything to everyone. As we're seeing now, that people are saying like, why does he speak about the immigrant crisis? Well, because he's an immigrant. You know, unless like the United States annexed Krypton and we didn't know about it. But the fact of the matter is like they have everything.
It's like
my
Puerto
Superman,
Rico.
Yeah, my Superman is truth, justice, and the American way. A guy who could dominate the world
chooses not
breaking
to.
a sweat, chooses to protect the world instead. Not just not to, because not to is a choice.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody's safe is a bigger choice and a bigger stay on the other side. So that's my Superman. And like, I can understand being dark and stuff like that. And I could go into a whole diatribe about like how like the standard movies did good or did bad or whatever. But the fact of the matter is like, there's room enough for. First of all, there should be room enough.
There's room enough for everybody. That's true.
But
absolutely.
I would say I would err on the side of saying like for most people, Superman is the George Reeves on the world with this thing going back there and the American flag waving, and it's a positive character. They want negative
George Reeves or Christopher Reeve? Wait, hold on.
Going back to George Reeves because I'm that old.
Yeah, no. But Christopher, I think everybody's Superman is Christopher Reeve, and then you can develop whichever way you want to go. I think this one is
Christopher Reeve wasn't on Lucy,
but George Reeves was because I know that because I'm old.
Jesus Christ!
So do I.
All you young whippersnappers don't know that.
I'm so glad we can talk about our new sponsor, MeTV. Very excited about that. Thank you for bringing it up.
What about truth, justice, and the American way, JW?
Yeah. Okay.
What did they quote instead?
Well, he doesn't actually quote any of it actually in this one. I think the interesting thing there is, I think the takeaway that I have from the movie is it's punk rock to be kind. I'm cool with that. I'm down. I put up the Iggy Pop. I am so down with this movie.
He liked the circle jerks or something. No, not the circle jerks. Who the hell did?
The
Excuse me. The crab joys. The crab joys, you idiots. The crab joys. Anyway,
that was the poster, right?
But there was poster. Yes, I think I am okay. Like, you can like Man of Steel, but I will tell you, I will give you the fundamental difference between Man of Steel and Superman for me. The two, well, actually two. You can do the 78 Superman. You can do this Superman. The key is the Man of Steel, Pa Kent, is the biggest douchebag walking. He's a terrible dad. No.
In Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah, okay, got it.
Kevin Costner's Pa Kent is one of the worst representations of that character in the history of film. He's awful.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid going to save the dog.
Don't save. Dad, yeah. No. It's what he teaches Clark. Don't save the busload of kids. Don't save me in front of everybody. It's the opposite of what Pa Kent's supposed to teach him. I will say you cannot tell me that you don't think the Ma and Pa Kent in this are better than the Ma and Pa Kent in Man of Steel, right? You're not gonna say the Costner Ma and Pa Kent was better than this Ma and Pa Kent.
No, but Bo Duke was a better Pa Kent.
Yeah, I like the Smallville Ma and Pa Kent.
I think this particular Pa Kent is particularly, he's a really good actor, and I also think it's a really good scene with him and Clark.
Yeah,
where we get over the fact that, I will say, the other spoiler that we're not going to give, that scene with Clark hits because of the other things that are going on for me. And also, I think
that's the throwback, right?
That's the throwback,
that's
and also
the 70s throwback.
That's the 70s throwback, yeah. But the Pa Kent from Man of Steel is a douchebag.
Yeah,
he's awful.
I would go further that, because, like, actually going back to the Superman in our minds. For me, a lot of times Superman, the character, both in comic books and movies and whatever, it's heredity versus environment.
Yes,
and this movie has a big thing about that. Not to spoil anything. Or anything like that, but there's a whole thing about, like,
it's nature or nurture, or nurture, right?
And my thing,
Bill, let me answer Missy here. Okay. Overall box office closing on $4 billion for all of 2025, an 18% gain compared to this time last year. Yes, that is all true. Just so we're clear, though, still 24% off of 2019. So even though we're up 18%, it's still 24% off of what we were movie going wise in 2019. I don't want it to be. I want people going to the movies. I want people going to theaters, but it hasn't been the same since streaming hit, since COVID. And then when COVID and streaming combined for that 1 year where everything was released streaming from Warner Brothers, that's also kind of sent it into a downward trend.
No, it wasn't that. I think it could have rebounded a lot quicker after COVID if you didn't go right into the writer's strike and the shutdown after that.
That is part of it. That's also part of it.
Sure. And also with stuff going on streaming 4 weeks after it's in the theaters.
Yes.
I was just reading. Isn't Megan 2 and How to Train Your Dragon already going to streaming?
Yeah.
Megan 2 and How to Train Your Dragon are already going to streaming because Universal, just so we're clear, Universal has a contract with all the major film distributors, all the major exhibitors, I should say, that if their movie hits a certain number after a certain number of weeks, they drop it to streaming. Universal has been doing that with any. So the interesting thing there is How to Train Your Dragon's a big hit, already on streaming. Megan 2, not a big hit, already on streaming.
But getting back to my point, sorry about that. For me, the thing that makes Superman and want to protect people is the influence from Pa Kent growing up and stuff like that. And I agree with you. The whole, like, Man of Steel is like, well, let the kids die. When I saw that, I was like, don't
tell anybody about your powers. They might cut you open, even though you can't be cut open with anything the government would have.
He learns how to be Superman from Ma and Pa Kent. That's my attitude towards it in the comic books and in the movies. And that scene that we're talking about that we can't really go into is an example of that in action. That's one of the scenes I like from the movie. I didn't hate the movie completely, but
I don't know, but I think I understand wanting a darker tone and all this other stuff. Darker tone. Remember, and I think one of the other things I'm excited about from this perspective, this particular DCU, Bill, you would agree, even though you're not as thrilled with the movie as you could be, you do agree that this opens up the universe, right? It completely opens the door for a different version of comic book movies coming from DC, correct?
Yeah, I'd say that, yeah.
I mean, because we're going to have a darker Lanterns. Lanterns is being described as True Detective with Green Lantern. So
yeah,
that's definitely going to be dark. It's definitely going to be R-rated.
Well, I'm liking the fact that Supergirl sounds like it's going to be a lot darker than this.
Well, Supergirl, they're doing Woman of Tomorrow, which is a very big arc for her, where she was supposed to take care of Clark. She gets here and she doesn't have a fucking life. He's already grown up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not only that, she grew up old enough to see Krypton die.
Yes.
And see her own world die. So she's like suffering from manic depression, and she can't really treat it because she's Supergirl. So she goes on her 21st birthday to go drinking and comes into the plot from True Grit. And I think that's a compliment, because I love that arc. I love that by Tom King.
Wait, put that comment back up. Better movie. Shut up, Jasper.
Kraven the Hunter, definitely.
No, but I think that goes to show, though, DC down to the same level as Sony putting out a spin-off Spider-Man movie?
No. This is ridiculous comments. Look, even if Shazam is a bad movie, or even if Wonder Woman 84 is a bad movie, they are still better than the terrible Sony movies. Kraven's a terrible movie. Please stop with this. This is ridiculous that we're even getting into the idea that somebody could put up a comment that's like, is it as good as Kraven the Hunter? You're not saying that, Bill.
Kraven was a masterpiece. And people are going to find out later on about this. But here's the thing I want to get on.
Later on, when we're dead, Bill?
See, personally,
in 20 years, when that came from Jerry's basement.
Later on, when they remake it again.
Okay, let me briefly talk about Kraven, because people are thinking this. I grew up with my father, and we used to watch. Are
you serious? You're serious?
I like cheesy action movies, and it worked for me there. Were there flaws in it? There's flaws big enough to drive a car through. Was it as good as Superman? Absolutely not. I'm just rubbing your rhubarb with that one.
Okay, thank God.
I liked it.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Make sure you dip in sugar first.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. What do you want to say? What was your?
We're past Superman now, right? The next major release coming out. Can we talk about July 25th and the big movie coming out for that date?
Yes, but can I finish my thoughts? Oh, God, there we go. Yeah, that's actually coming out, isn't it?
Oh, God, that's all we need.
But Jesus fucking Christ.
Getting back to the whole thing about tone.
I had to do that.
Basic comic fan, certain comic books heroes do not support dark tones.
They don't.
Can you make it with Green Lantern? Yeah, you can. Batman, definitely. He's pitch black. He's dark. Saw his parents get killed in front of him. Yeah, that's dark. Superman, not so much. Superman is supposed to be hopeful, and the whole coming to our world, making it better when he doesn't have to kind of thing. It's a more positive experience. Just like if they made like a Shazam movie where Shazam was selling drugs on the corner to kids, yeah, that wouldn't be a good tone either. Having Lobo open a daycare and it'd be hilarious as he tries to chase after all these kids, that wouldn't be bad either, because that's not a tone for Lobo. Lobo's darker. He's more actually sarcastic and satiric, but dark.
Put that back up. Last week, JW said the gun had to get a perfect score with Superman, more so than Fantastic Four for Marvel. And I still think he's wrong. I think that has more to prove than this Superman. If anything, Gunn has to prove that to me that Supergirl will work, that Clayface will work as a movie, built a world. It's great, but Sam Gunn knows how to do this. Little mistakes from Marvel. I'm sure he made a Superman movie. I would have enjoyed the world. I would have enjoyed everyone around. I didn't say anything last week because I wasn't here. But I will say, what I will say is, I think my opinion has shifted a little bit. I think
because
Fantastic
movie.
No, because I saw Superman. Right, that's absolutely true. now that I've seen Superman, I do think Fantastic Four has to deliver. I think for the first time in a long time, where Marvel's been by themselves, just kind of running roughshod over everything comic book movie wise. Now it does have to hit.
I would have to disagree with you respectfully on that point. Only on one aspect, because I would have if it wasn't for Thunderbolts. I love Thunderbolts. I thought Thunderbolts was a return to the storytelling that Marvel was known for at the very beginning, back with Iron Man and stuff like that. Characters who are human, a bad guy you could see and root for, even stuff like that. That was a return to that. If they could keep on making movies like that, and hopefully Fantastic Four First Steps is a movie like that, then they'll be in good shape. I would like to see it.
I agree. I think they've gotten away from their strong suits. Absolutely.
I agree with you. One brilliant thing before Fantastic Four came out, though, and that was in the last Doctor Strange movie, when they had John Krasinski play Mr. Fantastic. Even though he's not the Mr. Fantastic in this movie, it was a palate cleansing from the other Fantastic Four movies. And it gave you hope that they could actually do something right with the Fantastic Four character.
I still think people are disappointed that he's not Mr. Fantastic, but I understand Pedro Pascal is the.
Hey, he's got to go save another child. I know.
He's the mint chocolate chip of actors right now. He's in everything. Thunderbolts was really good, but it came out in a short time. I'm gonna save my money to see Superman and Fantastic Four, and I waited and I streamed Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is great. I will say to you though, again, I'll stand by my thing. I think, and I've talked to a friend who's also very much into Marvel and was not into Superman, but then we went to see Superman and he came out going, I'm more excited about this Superman universe and this DCU than I've been in a long time. And the idea that Marvel doesn't get to fire any blanks anymore. They need to hit, and I think they will. I'm not saying it's going to go poorly for them. I think the big story from the Wall Street Journal where Fahey basically said, I lost track of myself and I wasn't doing the quality control that I'm used to. So I think with Fantastic Four, we're going to get back to that.
It's not going to be the Superman movie. It's not DC. It's going to be if they can develop the supporting movies like Marvel did. If they can do something with Super Gang, if they're Justice Gang.
Well, and I think
I got two things that I need to bring up before we end this. So
yeah, we're not ending that. Bring up your thing. Go.
Okay. Go. First of all, I thought the Justice Gang was pointless. Pointless. I mean, maybe just to have in the background for a few things. I didn't understand why they were.
Bill doesn't like the background stuff.
I love all the background stuff in Superman.
Wait, you didn't. So wait a second. They were pointless. You didn't like Guy Gardner. You didn't like Hawkgirl. You didn't like.
What was the point of having them in the movie?
To show a shared universe. That's the only reason why.
To show a shared universe, and also
they needed them to save Superman.
They
needed a marketing ploy. Is what they needed.
Yeah, it's like, okay, here goes in ranks of characterization. Mr. Terrific, because he has the most screen time, but his goes from being like stoic and reserved to being like, wisecracking at the end. Pick a lane, stay in it. Guy Gardner, because Guy Gardner had Nathan Fillion when America, nay, the world's best actors playing the part there. And he was probably giving like free reign to do whatever he wanted to, made the character his own, and made him funny. There's not really much character development except for him saying, I'm a Green Lantern 50 times during the whole movie. Hawkgirl. Cypher. She has great sound. That's the main thing about the character. You don't know her backstory. You barely know her name because I think it's mentioned like once. Nothing to scream. And you go in there like with. I think they're going to get to it eventually at some point down the line. But I like to have a little bit more than that. If these characters are going to be as important to the movie as they are.
No, and I think I think we're okay on that. I'm not saying like. I think Terrific is because I think it's a good character that DC has been developing. They're trying to get him out. I think Gunn did a really good job making a Superman movie. It was actually a team movie. Sure. I also, and again, I think part of it is you're being dropped into the universe, and as opposed to everything kind of happening as it's happening, and you're trying to do real life. Okay, so we disagree, but maybe we won't in 2 weeks.
The second
you got a
thing.
second? Go ahead, Drew.
Man of Steel and Superman. They both get in trouble in some sort of way. They both turn themselves in. How many similarities are there to actual Man of Steel to Guns Superman?
Yeah, you know what the real big difference is, though? One understands Superman and the other one doesn't.
And if you're going to
things.
And if you're going to the similarities thing, I know you won't go into too much spoilers, but at the end they tack on a method for Luthor, a motivation that is exactly the same as Superman Returns and the first Superman movie, which I love the first Superman movie, but that's the stupidest kind of plot point it had there, and they carried it over.
Okay.
So there's like your analogy there, though, JW, where you said one of them understood Superman and one didn't. It was like two different people writing a Captain America book where one person might identify with one writer's concept.
No, I will always be under the impression that Man of Steel is not a good. It's not a good version, but it's not a good version of the character.
There are going to be people that lean towards Man of Steel.
Okay, but I'm just saying, for me, it's not
like that darker,
it's not
toned Superman.
Right, but you know it doesn't work with the character. I don't know.
Death of Superman's sleeve. Superman and Doomsday. This one's oldish.
I understand, man. I'm just saying, Man of Steel is hard to watch. Man of Steel is hard to watch.
See, I didn't mind Man of Steel all that much. I liked it much more than my colleague Rich. You know him. I don't.
Yeah, I know him pretty well.
Can we all agree that Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice was ass? Like
it's a piece of trash. Justice League pile of trash. They're both.
Well, no, I like the Snyder cut.
Oh my God, the fucking Snyder cut.
I like the Snyder cut. The one they put in the theater was trash. The Snyder cut explained a whole lot more and filled in a lot of plot holes.
Yeah.
Right, and if we didn't have a cult of people like whining about it, we never would have gotten it. Oh, thank God we got a 4-hour version of a terrible movie.
Most comic book movies are made for? A cult of people.
And
wait a minute.
I think the difference in your opinions is I think JW thinks he should be a symbol of hope, but the Man of Steel one isn't. I think that's really the difference.
Well, I understand.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing this whole time.
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, over the past 100 years.
Thank you, Jerry.
That's what I'm hearing. That's the difference in your arguments, right? I mean,
the tone of Man of Steel for me is not
okay. But Superman has changed in the comics over the decades as well. You know,
so
the first 50 years he was a Boy
Superman,
Scout.
And Joe likes the chocolate Superman, but it's still ice cream.
Ew. That gives me like that. Usually ice cream is exciting.
That comes with a side
okay,
Bill, I'm hungry for ice cream.
Yeah, just Bill. Before we let you go, and before you can stay actually if you want to, we're gonna do
you love
Twilight Zone Redux. Well, no,
I might have to tag out because
you have dinner. Yeah. Let's talk about your new YouTube channel. What are you working on? What are you doing on Billboard Comics? Talk to us for a moment about
thank you. I had an idea for a number of books that I wanted to do using I've been collecting comic books for 40 years, over 40 years actually. And I decided going through the writing process, you have to get an agent, you have to get do speed, proposals and all kind of stuff like this. And it's hard to try to get a leg in the door. Doing YouTube, all you need is a camera and be able to go in front of it. I'm getting better at it, but my idea is that I was going to patent those books onto a website that people could refer to. I have various and sundry subsections there. One is Girlfriend's Guide to Comic Books, and it's not as misogynistic as it seems. It goes back to when I was dating my wife, and my wife decided one Christmas to fill in my Captain America run for me, and I gave her the list of the stuff. This is what I need, and she came back to me in a panic because okay, wait a minute, this is the oldest one, right? It doesn't have a number one. Why does it? And there's like 15 other number ones, but you have those already. I mean, are they? And like, she didn't know anything about that. She didn't know anything about condition or good prices or anything like that. So I had to bring her up to speed. I figured like anybody who has somebody who loves comic books might need this, whether they're male, female, father, daughter, son, whatever.
Sounds amazing.
Just give a guide there. Another is I have Growing Up Comics. It's about my memories growing up as a comic book collector. This week I'm going to talk about the Marvel and DC role-playing games that came out when I was like 12 or 13, and about how they affected me and how it's like really cool. You could be able to actually make your own superheroes that could stand with like all this stuff. But it goes all the way back to like my first comic book I did, like growing up in Northeastern Pennsylvania during the 70s, where you could get comic books at drugstores and stuff like this. It's my memory lane kind of thing.
The Woolworths.
Yeah. My parents used to sit me down and like let me sit in Salacos and just sit there in the thing. And they had comic books in the supermarkets there. And while they did grocery things, I just sit there and read every comic book there. And if there's a good one, I take it. I use my allowance to buy it and take it there. But like that's my memories of becoming a comic book reader, is doing that. And every Fridays I have a segment called Guiding Lines. It's a takeoff on an article I used to do for BrokenFrontier.com. It's basically giving you a heads up on what the upcoming new releases are. Giving you like some historical perspective and opinions and stuff like that. So that's the three major things. And since it's a YouTube channel, I do haul videos too, because everybody does that. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to actually pass on my knowledge to people who might like it, because my daughter is sick and tired of hearing me talk about comic books by now.
Well, that's cool, because I don't like you anymore, so that's good.
You and me both.
It's over. It's over. No,
I don't like myself either.
You know what? We're gonna continue to have you on. I love how you think. I love how you think about things, even when we disagree.
I told you before this. I felt like with Batman was running it, I felt like, oh God, I'm becoming like a Snyder bro or one of those people who think Superman's getting too woke because I didn't like the movie. But I mean, like, maybe I had too much high expectations going into it, but I just thought it was just
interesting. It's like I said, it's
me too. I expected a lot more from Gunn.
Yeah,
I pulled that down.
Yeah, I liked a lot of it, but like it's just overall, I
will not let this be the last thing said. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Have a great night.
No problem. Thank you. You're wrong, though. You're wrong.
Okay.
I was saying you're wrong. You're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Thank you very much for having
Joe's right. Everybody. I'm wrong.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
We'll see next week. Next week's the key. Thanks, Bill. Have a great day.
See you, Bill.
Peace out. Anyway, let's talk about something I do apparently know about, which is Twilight Zone. This is a fun time, kids. I don't know if Jerry got to watch it, but this is episode 64. It originally aired May 26, 1961. It is episode 28, season 2. The name of the episode, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? You've entered the Twilight Zone Redux. Here, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? It is a fantastic episode of the Twilight Zone. A spectacular, wonderful, amazing episode. Basically, a woman calls in. There's a UFO. That's right. JW hates you all. Yeah, I guess. I don't actually. The funny thing about the Superman movie has made me hopeful and joyful, and I've been happy since I saw it. So I'm good. I'm going to see it.
And if you don't agree with me, I'll kill you.
And if you don't agree, you're wrong.
It's the attitude he's had the week.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
I just want to say Jack Elam was awesome in this episode.
There are so many good. First off, it's a bunch of character actors, and they're basically what it is. Somebody calls in a UFO sighting. Let's do this the right way. Let's do wintry February night, the present. Order of events: a phone call from a frightened woman noting the arrival of an unidentified flying object. Then the checkout you've just witnessed, with 2 state troopers verifying the event, but with nothing more enlightening to add beyond evidence of some tracks leading across the highway to a driver. You've heard of trying to find a needle in a haystack? Well, stay with us now, and you'll be part of an investigating team whose mission is not to find that proverbial needle. No, their task is even harder. They've got to find a Martian in a diner, and in just a moment, you'll search with them because you've just landed in the Twilight Zone. So it's 2 cops investigating a UFO sighting. And first off, the way they introduce Rod Serling, the cops go around this tree, and as they go around the tree, Serling steps out from the tree. It's amazing, Jerry. It's an incredible, like, he's on the set, he steps forward, it's great. But eventually what happens is everybody gets in the diner. The guy driving the bus says, "Hey, there's your Jack Elam, by the way."
They follow footprints.
They follow footprints.
And
there's a diner, and there's a bus that has stopped at the diner because of the wintry conditions, and that the bridge is not suitable for travel. And the bus driver says, "We had 6 people on the bus." They look over, and there are 7 people in the diner, which is amazing. So there's, there's the cook, Haley, who's running the diner. He was there established before. Bus driver almost said his passengers, Ethel McConnell, who's a dancer. And there's this man named Avery who is fantastic, Jerry. It's this guy. It's Jack Elam. He's got a crazy face, and he's just amazing. And everybody becomes a suspect. Like, for example, even the kids in the corner who are together, the girl turns to him at one point and says, "I didn't notice that mole on your chin before." And the kid starts to freak out. Like, "I've had that mole forever." Like, what are you talking about? This is the diner guy, and he's super nice. And then it becomes like this figuring everything out. And, it basically gets to the point where, the cops are like trying to figure out what's happening, how this is working. But eventually, there's all kinds of tricks in the episode. There's the lights go out, or the jukebox kicks on, and everybody's freaking out. Everybody's blaming each other, talking about each other. It's rampant paranoia. A phone call comes in and says the bridge is good. You can pass it. The driver's like, "Cool." We get back on the bus. We'll get everybody back on the bus, and all of the passengers get on the bus.
All 7 people.
All 7 people get on the bus.
To be 6.
Which was supposed to be 6. And then in the darkness, one passenger walks back into the diner at the end of the episode, and he basically is talking to the shopkeep, this nice gentleman here, and in the middle of the talking, all of a sudden the third arm appears.
Yeah.
And he's basically, he tells the shopkeep, "Hey, oh, by the way, the bus has crashed. Both cops are dead. Everybody on the bus is dead. And I'm part of a Martian invasion fleet that's about to set up a colony from Mars in your neck of the woods. And it would be best for you as a human being to take care of us and serve us before we take over this planet." And then the episode pulls a double swerve, because the barkeep takes off his hat.
Yeah.
And he's
from Venus.
He's from Venus.
And they were
he's
there
like,
first.
It is a cool place for a colony. We already have one here. And your force that was coming to colonize has already been intercepted and taken out. So it is a rare episode of the Twilight Zone that is a double swerve. And the coolest thing about the swerve is that, everybody dies in the episode, theoretically, except for the Venusian who was behind the diner in the first place, who's in the diner in the first place. The closing narration: "Incident on a small island to be believed or disbelieved. However, if a sour-faced dandy named Ross or a big, good-natured counterman who handles a spatula as if he'd been born with one in his mouth. If either of those 2 enemies walk onto your premises, you better hold their hands, all 3 of them. Or check the color of their eyes, all 3 of them. The gentleman in question might try to pull you into the Twilight Zone." But it's very much a paranoia episode. It's very much a well-written episode. All the characters are great. The dancer is really cool. She's like traveling around the country. She also has the longest male gaze at somebody's ass in the history of television, Jerry. She gets on the bus at the end, and both the cop and the bus driver go like this, watching her ass get into the bus. But what I want to say is the interesting thing here is they use the term in the middle of the episode, Jerry. Did you hear it? At one point they said, "We're going to find out whatever this thing is." And I was like,
yeah,
man. Somewhere a young John Carpenter had to watch this because it's all about paranoia. It's all about rampant paranoia. The other thing I was thinking about, Jerry, when I was watching this episode, and it's so great, is Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. That's the other thing that it reminded me of.
I actually thought about Duel for a minute, too.
Little bit,
yes.
When he
goes into the cafe and he's like, okay, he's in here.
He's in here. Yes, that is perfect. But it's all these things, and it's such a good episode, though. It's such a great episode. And I'm going to say this honestly, I don't know that I'd ever seen it before today.
I don't remember it.
I don't remember it at all, but it's so good. It's so well done. And this will be the penultimate episode of the Twilight Zone Season 2. Next week, we get a fantastic episode.
The Obsolete Man.
The Obsolete Man, the third appearance of our good friend Burgess Meredith. And so I love this episode. This episode reminded me of so many things that I like. Paranoia-based horror movies where the creature is in the room with you and you don't know who's who. And everybody's chomping at the bit and complaining and bitching. And it's really well done. And the fact that
old ones 20 minutes long, or are they 45 minutes long?
We're gonna get in season 3, 4, and 5. They go to an hour, but right now they're like 25 minutes, and they are as and Jerry when Jerry and I talk about these, and I know Kyle hates us because we pontificate about it, but they are such well written pieces of film. Like they're compact movies where they tell a beginning, a middle, and an end in 25 minutes. And they're usually supremely acted, really well directed, good special effects, excellent production design.
These are on Paramount, or
they're on Paramount Plus. Yeah. It's like they have every single season. That's where we're watching them, but you can also buy them.
I've been listening to the audio versions on YouTube.
They're amazing. They're incredible. Like they're just. This one was really good. The Obsolete Man next week is also a really good episode. The Obsolete Man deals with somebody who's he's basically, it's a totalitarian state, and he's a librarian, and being a librarian, somebody who reads books and understands books, is being put to death so the totalitarian state can survive.
Is that Burgess Meredith?
Yeah, Burgess Meredith is the Obsolete Man.
With books again.
With books, yeah. It's kind of great. And then we'll jump to season 3, and season 3 begins with a bang. When I say this, we get Charles Bronson on TV.
What?
Charles Bronson is in season 1.
He's a pup. No,
he's a baby. He's an absolute baby, and it's one of the most controversial episodes in the history of the Twilight Zone. It's called 2. That's in 2 weeks. So. Okay.
Kyle, my lights match your hair.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Kyle's got the purple going on. 2 things I want.
Is there a significance to the purple, or
no?
Just
no.
Because I can't. Just because for most of it.
Let's talk about this.
We'll go back.
Joe, I brought this up because you're here tonight. Our good friends Harlow's Haunt 2. Infinite Delirium's on its way. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. Terry Jarrell, our good friend, is going to be making this sequel to one of the bigger hits on Tubi right now, and other streaming services, Harlow's Haunt, which you're in, by the way.
Don't go and watch it just because I'm in it. All right, don't do it. You'll be disappointed. I have like 30 seconds at the end.
He's in 30 seconds in the weird. The wonderfully meta ending.
30 seconds.
Also, a quick thing, 2 quick notes. Happy birthday to Harrison Ford. Has to be done. It was his birthday on the 13th. He's 82, just so we're clear. Jesus Christ. We're all getting old. And also, in 3 or 4 days, get your tickets for the Odyssey, although it's a misnomer.
I saw Ken post about that.
They're good. We're going to have to get our tickets early for the Odyssey, but it's only theaters that are showing the movie in 70 millimeter and IMAX that are putting their tickets a year
in advance.
It's because it's only like 20 theaters around the country, And the last time an IMAX movie from I want to say Oppenheimer, but it's not Oppenheimer, from the director. The last time he had a movie that played at 70 millimeter in IMAX, Christopher Nolan. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I'm still frustrated about the Superman conversation. But basically, God damn it, it's a good movie. Everybody should go see it. Everybody should go see it in its second week. I'm going to give it at least 3 tickets next week, just so it can try to catch up and take out whatever it needs to take out. Anyway, I have AMC. I can do that. But yeah, the Nolan tickets are only
watch out. Here come the Smurfs.
Well, that's the other thing. 2 movies opening.
And
Smurfs,
I know what you did last summer.
And I know what you did last summer. And I don't know that anybody cares about either one.
I don't know, man. Jennifer Love Hewitt looked pretty.
She looks great. She looks great. She looks great wherever she goes. That's absolutely true. Jerry, you have a show coming up as well.
Yep.
Kyle, do you have shows coming up? Saturday, July 19th at the V Spot, right?
Yes,
in
sir.
Scranton, $10 tickets. Slapjaw, Drowning, Kelly, 40 Watt. I can read Functional Robots.
This is the show where Slapjaw turns 27.
Yes, sir. 27.
There you go.
Look at that history.
Hey, did Kyle have a birthday recently?
No, not recently. It's still up.
He's got one coming, and
oh, okay. I thought all the celebrating and everything, you hanging out in the water and everything. I thought that was your birthday gig.
No,
just him being cool.
Just floating down the Lehigh.
I do like that his purple is the same shade as the show and also your room.
And the Joker.
I'm loud and nerdy.
Also, you can find us every Tuesday night here on Loud and Nerdy. Also, you can catch our show Generation Movie on Monday nights. This Monday coming up, kids, we continue our Zaz dive in with the Naked Gun. I'm not going to see Craven again. I'm never going to watch that movie ever again. That movie's so fucking bad. It's such a bad movie.
We follow it up with the
movie. Where's the thumbnail for your August 5th show?
Jesus Christ. Of course. It's the only thing I don't have. Hold on. I'll get it. I don't have it. I wasn't.
He's looking for that. You know what comes out on my birthday? Happy Gilmore 2.
Would it be Happy Gilmore 2?
Yes, on July 25th. There's nothing else to go see that day. Not at all.
I don't know why. I thought it was early July.
Also, there's nothing that's going to be taken over the Cineplex like Happy. Oh wait, Happy Gilmore 2 is straight to fucking
Netflix.
Straight to fucking Netflix.
It's like Coming to America 2.
The way that's what's killed movies since 2019, according to some crackpot I listened to online.
Well, it has killed movies since 2019. You don't think Happy Gilmore would do good in theaters? Seriously, if
Karate Kid,
Netflix guaranteed him a vacation.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay, so here's 2 things, and then we're definitely ending. We're not promoting anything else. We do have a big show coming up on August 5th. Kerry Means, actor, composer, artist, will be joining us. He's got a big show coming up in Orlando, Animate Orlando, August 8th to the 10th. He's known for a lot of voices and a lot of cool things, especially Aqua Teen Hunger Force. We're super excited to have him. And then, what else is I don't know. That's it. Oh, just to leave everybody wanting, what could you possibly want in a popcorn bucket? And the answer is, if you really want a cool popcorn bucket, I don't know where the fucking picture is. Fuck. It's the Naked Gun popcorn bucket. The Naked Gun popcorn bucket is absolutely spectacular. The beaver. Thank you. I just had it stuffed. Thanks for joining us tonight. Everybody go away.
I got a question. I have one more question. And I got to ask this because I'm really curious. The popcorn buckets and stuff, does that go towards movie totals or is that just a theater thing?
Just a theater thing.
Okay,
I'm supporting it doesn't go to the movies at all. I'm supporting the theaters. I will say this is
They get a licensing fee off of it. It goes towards it.
But this is one of the nicest cups I've ever had. Like, it's a gripper cup, so this is hard plastic, so it's super. And the other one is a keychain. So if you look at the other one over there,
Superman cup is super. What a fucking description! You're a fucking wordsmith.
It is. I'm amazing.
There's a lot of hope.
There's a lot of hope. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great week. Stay out of trouble. Go see Super.